Assalamualaikum and hi to Dr. Aida and fellow friends. In this video, our groups represent a topic about the effectiveness of online learning from teachers and students' perception. My name is Nurul Adibah Binti Idris.
My name is Aizat Nurhakim bin Raja Sazlim.
My name is Najwa Zafirah Binti Zairi.
Hi, my name is Liyana, Athira, Binti, Roslan.
Now, I would like to explain the first part, the introduction. In March 2020, the world was shaken by the declaration of COVID-19 as a global pandemic by the World Health Organization (WHO) as the infectious disease rapidly spread outside China, infecting and claiming millions of lives. The coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 pandemic has affected all education sectors in Malaysia significantly since the government had taken up decisive actions to mitigate the spread of the virus to the full-blown pandemic, resulting in school and universities shutting all across the world by forcing people to stay at home. This caused both teachers and students to face multiple challenges in teaching and learning since the pandemic transformed the landscape of learning and teaching around the world. Online learning is not something new, but it is newly adapted in learning. So students find it difficult to adapt in their lives because they are used to learning via face-to-face in class. So the struggles from teachers and students especially raises the question of whether online learning is effective or not.
And now I will explain the effectiveness of online learning from teacher perception. Firstly, online learning has the capability to offer teachers opportunities to develop their own technology skills. As we know, skills in technology and ICT is important in online learning process. To ensure the effectiveness of online learning, teachers need to develop academic content that is suitable with student situation. There are three main stages for ICT to be highly valued and regarded by the teachers, which is integration, enhancement, and complementary. Integration approach is about implementing right use of ICT in particular subject area that involve complex concepts and skills to improve students' achievement and attainment. Besides, the review of curriculum is also needed so that only related ICT resources and appropriate will be installed for the main aims and objective of curriculum to be achieved. Enhancement approach is about using ICT to give great emphasis on the topic introduced. For instance, Microsoft PowerPoint can be used to present the topic in a very innovative and creative way that will lead into discussion and exchanging ideas, thoughts. Finally, complementary approach is when the ICT is used to aid and support the students' learning. This approach allows students to be more organized and efficient, in which they can obtain the notes from computer, submit their works by email from home as long as they meet the deadline, and looking for information from various sources provided online to fulfill the tasks given to them by using ICT knowledge. Teachers also can gain new knowledge and develop their own skills in delivering the best learning sessions. Teachers also must put more effort and do some research on tools and any internet platform that's suitable for all students before conducting the class. This is to ensure all students and learners can access the contents of online learning and so that they will be able to cope with the changing situation of the academic environment. And for the next point, for teacher perceptions regarding the effectiveness of online learning is, online learning requires systematic planning so as to create an effective learning ecosystem. By proper planning and outlining, instructors could be more well equipped technically for a better instructional design, and learners would be well prepared for a full teaching and learning approach via e-learning. Then, a more research measurement tool may be applied to the study impact of comprehensive online learning. The fast-paced, constantly changing, dynamic and innovative online learning environment forces teachers to think outside the box in enabling students to have a meaningful learning experience. This transition not only affected teaching and learning activities for educators and students, but included transformations in instructional strategies, technology readiness among educators in implementing online learning, support given by institutions, and the motivation of teachers and students. This sudden shift in teaching and learning is very challenging, particularly to the educators. They were not prepared with the sudden transition from face-to-face classroom to online learning, and this transition led to several obstacles in teaching and learning activities, such as problem-related availability of a good internet connections, the condition at home, and minimal interaction with the students.
Next, I will explain the last point about the effectiveness of online learning from teachers' perception. Teachers also have to adapt to the new normal of teaching and learning due to COVID-19 pandemic. The readiness of the teachers in online teaching explore their vulnerability in their profession because of the adjustment they need to make from face-to-face interaction to online learning setting in making sure students stay engaged throughout the online learning and class lecture. So, from the teacher perception, it was challenges in making sure students stay engaged throughout the online learning class. So, teacher need to provide impactful outline and planning regarding student course schedule and put effort to keep student informed before the class lecture was held. By doing this, students are more prepared and ready to concentrate and fully engage during the lecture. Next, the effective communication, also one of the ways to make sure students stay engaged during lecture. As example, having two ways communication and using appropriate tools that student easy to access, such as Zoom meeting, Google Meet, Cisco Webex, and also Telegram. The greater interaction between student and teachers not only makes students engaged throughout the class, but also make the online learning process more effective. And it also one of the factors that can contribute to the students' success in their academics. Apart from that, deliver and convey the knowledge in interesting and creative way that can attract students to stay engaged during the class lecture. As example, by sharing a video using Jamboard and other Google application that can make students stay focused. Based on our research article, students choose the engagement from the teacher to achieve learning outcome outline as the effectiveness of online learning. Not only teachers, but actually both teacher and student in faced with multiple challenges in online teaching and learning. So, I will continue my presentation for the first point of the effectiveness of online learning from student perception. Firstly, digital divide is one of the challenges they face by the student, which is the gap towards the individual that have disadvantaged background. Students that stay in rural area encounters more obstacles than in urban area in terms of internet connection and also electrical facilities, which make the online learning process less effective. As we know, online learning is very dependent on internet access, and so it's very challenging of the student that have a disadvantaged background. Next, the other situation that occurred because of digital divide among the student is limited or low internet bandwidth, unsupported system requirements such as audio or visual interruption, which is affect student learning process because students might leave some important things said by their teachers or cannot respond to the question asked during the class, and the video is stuck since they have a poor internet connection. Students also reported that having a non-conducive learning environment hampered their synchronous online classes. Besides, they have a certain student that have disadvantaged background can afford to buy laptop or tablet. So, to ensure the effectiveness of online learning, providing a fully flexible education that is suitable with the student background is very essential. And from the article that we use as reference, a study found out that freshmen, sophomores, and those who less academic experience face more difficulty in adapting to online learning. Next, I will pass to Nurul Adibah.
Next, I will explain the second perception of online learning from student perception. Online learning creates a stress environment, and implementing a webcam creates unnecessary anxiety. The online test process is harder for students as they feel stress due to time constraints and adaptability. Students had used to sit for an examination with the formal examination surroundings where the teachers who can remind them about the time and students who take the same paper with them. However, through online learning, they tend to feel pressured by time, sometimes because of lack of connection and data usage. Students are not able to receive instruction from their teachers and may lead to unsuccessful submission. Some students also feel stressed to adapt to online tests as they must refer to the questions from their computer and going through online submission such as scanning and uploading their answer script to the learning platform, as they used to take a test offline, so online tests may require their software skills and are quite stressful for students who are not used to this technology or a slow learner. Students also found that the webcam on a laptop is very distracting, excessive, and creates anxiety for some students, especially for low self-confidence students. The webcam really made some students feel stress and pressure as it limits their movements and make it hard to take a test. However, on the other side, some active students love to open the camera during class to show their participation to their teachers. In addition, the environment at home, especially not a good environment, might be a factor for students to stress and get anxiety as they must face problems at home while at the same time trying to study and make assignments. Certain students complained that they feel stressed because their parents did not understand the process of online learning that required them to stay in their room for a long time. So their parents tend to misunderstood and can create a misconception. The solution is students should explain properly to their parents how this online learning is work, because some parents are kind of old to understand this kind of thing. In my perception as a student, I also feel the struggle of online learning at first because I have to shift the method of learning from face-to-face class to online learning. As time passed, I learned to adapt to this new kind of method learning. In my point of view, I see that online learning can save our cost and also our time, as we don't have to go to class, but we only have to open our laptop and join the class using the link given from our lecturer. I also think that online learning gives a better submission than face-to-face class, as I don't have to go to office or campus to submit my assignments, as all submission is submitted through online.
The last point for students' perception is online learning increases confidence in the integrity of online assessment in students by integration of proctoring tools. First, based on the survey, quiz and open book or open notes received the highest score, which shows that students prefer to take an exam, quiz, or test through an open book. This is because during the pandemic, students received the heavy amount of coursework and they spent most of their time to finish the work. The quiz and open book examination provide chances to students to understand and think critically. Next is monitoring students. Monitoring students' performance can identify who is cheating during examinations and lack of focus in online learning. But as the online education community or stakeholders, they urge to not simply jump into a conclusion judgment about students cheating during exam because it leads to the biased decision. Peer attitude is considered as another primary concern for students as they felt it would be viable for some learners to cheat during the individual examination, such as copying others or discussing the answer. Students express a bigger concern for themselves rather than their peers, showing their trust in the instructors to prepare a fair assessment. The last point is students' integrity is important for every student so that they would not cheating during examinations, and every mark or grade they receive are very genuine. This is because students express a bigger concern for themselves rather than their peers, showing their trust in the instructors to prepare a fair assessment. Course management and learner environment factors were also reported by the students, thus making them feel the need to disagree with having online examinations. In conclusion, online learning has affected adults and children in terms of having difficult time, mental health issues, and lack of motivation, which is more time is required for students in this online learning mode because they need to learn the computer skills and stay focused in the class, which is by learning basic computer skills. It will help students to complete their assignments and use e-learning in an effective way. That's all from our group. Thank you.